start the session number 1. And in this regard, I welcome to our faculty member and senior officer, Amit Garg sir. So, Amit Garg is working here as SD in ALTTC, and he deliver a lot of lecture in the cyber field, IT platform, APT platform, and now today going with you at on ASEAN platform. So on behalf of LTTC, I warm welcome to the Amit Garg sir, and session request to you, please start this session today, and hopefully you are all enjoy his session. Welcome, sir. Please. Yes.
Thank you, KKG. Thank you, Neeraj. Very good morning to all esteemed participants of this ASEAN course. I warmly welcome to all the participants in this ASEAN course from the bottom of my heart. And I really appreciate the efforts of this faculty who is trying to conduct the courses in various latest domains. The active members of this faculty are the appreciable part for that. And now we are going to start the today's topic and the today's agenda regarding the cyber forensic. I think all the participants have joined the session. We will continue. And I request all the participants, please make any conversation in the chat box to make them physically or interactive with the course so that they will enjoy this conversation between us. Okay. So, sir, we are today discussing the cyber forensic. There are so many domains in the cyber. Reporting is in the cyber forensic. There are so many domains. Really, we can assume the cyber forensic is a complete set of the different terminologies which are being used in the cyber field. All of you are well aware about the different cyber terminologies which are being used in today's digital world. Maybe it is a cyber securities, cyber resilience, cyber forensic, digital forensic, computer forensic, forensic evidences. All these are the part of the scientific or the digital technological process which are being developed and the cultivating in the today's digital world. And finally, the cyber forensic is basically the scientific process that captures the imaging and analyze the information in any type of the electronic format. We are emphasizing the part that the forensic, that cyber forensic or the digital forensic is, or whatever may be the forensic, is basically the capturing, or we can say that the imaging. We will elaborate all these points in the detail in further in this session, but the capturing is not the simple capturing. That is a sophisticated capturing which is being done by the professionals and the some enthusiastic activists which are being used their technological improvement or their expertise in that fields. So the finally goal of these cyber forensic is to examine and analyze these data in forensic sound manner with the aim of identifying, preserving, recovering, analyzing, and presenting the digital facts about the information. Nevertheless, it's not the mandatory. These processes are being exclusively used for the cyber crimes or any type of the criminal evidences. It may be even used to fortify the different type of the attacks and the cyber resilience techniques which are being used in nowadays. So we have to move further for the next one. Really, it's a highly technical discipline which requires a combination of the unique sophisticated skills related to the computer technologies and the softwares. That also includes the investigative experiences and exclusive evidence handling methods. That's not being done by the simple or we can say that the normal technocrats. We can say finally the cyber forensic is used to neutralize different type of the threats or the cyber threats with intelligence and cutting edge investigative and the analytical digital tools. I think all of you are well aware about these tools and the techniques which are being used in the cyber forensics and related technologies nowadays. You will be really appreciate about that. These field, especially the cyber forensics, is not approachable or the accessible to the each and every person in today's now the digital worlds, because for the development of the cyber forensics, we have to take in considerations the different law enforcements and federal agencies. Therefore, if you are getting the information about these things, it means we are getting some sophisticated informations or the sophisticated tools about that. And now, before moving to the cyber forensic into the details, we are just going into the history of the cyber forensic. Yes, I think all of you are aware about that, but in 1978, the first one in United States, the Florida Computer Crime Act was introduced in 1978. They have just introduced the Computer Crime Act. Over the period of time from the 1978, it has been the different type of the federal laws and the law enforcement agencies have introduced to cultivate the different type of the cyber forensic procedures. And finally, in the 1984, the federal FBI in the United States launches the Computer Analytical and Response Team for the analysis of the different type of cyber forensics. In approximately the 1989, Australia has added the cyber crimes into the list of their crime acts. These are over the period of time, the development which is being carried out related to the cyber forensics, which relates to their law enforcement agencies, their law enforcement structures and the federal structures. And finally, in 1990, the Britain joins in and the digital forensic goes mainstream. Means that over the period of time and as the time goes to the digital forensic resources and their related appliances are giving the harvesting, and the different governments in the Western countries are introducing the Computer Misuse Act in their countries. And in 1992, the Computer Forensic the word computer forensic was used first time in the academic literature. You will be surprised that in 1992, that computer forensic was first time used in the academic literature in the countries. And finally, they have made the computer forensic as attempt to justify the digital forensic as a new discipline. For the short period of time, they have just introduced the computer forensic, and that computer forensic has been converted into the digital forensics, and that contains the different type of the limitations and the constants for the implementation and the standardization of these digital forensics, because they have just implemented it, they have just introduced it, but there is no framework or the training and the specialization regarding the digital forensic. Finally, over the period of 9 years, finally in 2001, the British National High-Tech Crime Unit introduced, and they have provided their central headquarters in the London, the various regional police forces. And finally, in 2004, the Convention of the Cyber Crimes come into the force. Means that the approximately 43 nations, including the great one, United States, UK, South Africa's, European nations, all these major countries, and they have just made the Convention of the Cybercrime into the major forces. After that, the digital forensic has been developed, but because we all of us knows that each and everything has the good, bad, and even worst factors for that. Sometimes the digital forensic have to face some biased reviews or the biased technologies in comparison to the Windows, Android, Unix, and Linux. It is to be said that in the year of the 2009, Microsoft has been awarded as a being more safe regarding the digital forensic as compared to the Linux and the Unix. But finally, over the period of time, these things goes fade away, and they have to come from the clouds. And in 2010, some major developments are being carried out in the digital forensic or the cyber forensic. Okay, so in the today's panorama, we all of us knows that we use the different type of the terminologies which are synonymic to each other. Sometimes I think you are well aware about these technologies, say the cyber world, digital world. All these are the synonymic words which are being used in our literature, in our technological journals. But strictly, these are, we can say that, complementary to each other. We can not say the one factor exists without the another one, or we can say that these two things these two things are the different two sides of the same coin. Similarly, we can say that the cyber forensic and the digital forensic are the synonymic to each other, because both the technologies focus on the protecting the digital assets. These two technologies are protecting the digital assets. So please. Yeah, Mr. I request to Mr. Porher, please unmute your mic. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Because these two technologies are focusing on the protecting the digital assets, therefore, we are sometimes say that these two are the synonymic to the each other. Moreover, these two are the instrumental in creating the effective defense, analysis, and the investigation of a cybercrime. Because sometimes whenever we use the word forensic, it means we are talking about the any type of the legal constants, law enforcements, or whatever may be. But you, I think, may be aware, or you will be surprised to know that the forensic is not just confined to the law enforcement or the legal formalities. Forensic is a just generic word which is used to elaborate the different type of the objects, technologies, evidences, samples in every field or the concerned field in which that particular thing may be supposed to be the fragile or the volatile. Okay. In the healthcare sector, you can say that these things may be the forensic, because each and every time you are using the sterilized things, you are using the sterilized containers or the sample, these things are to be forensics if we have to carry out the special take care of the medical patients or the high profile the medical national leaders in the medical way. We cannot discuss here some national level news, but in that particular news, in some reputed countries, highly sitting leaders, they use the special forensic applications and the special forensic medical tools so that any type of the mishappening or the exploitation may not be carried out during the medical examination or the medical, say, treatment. So we can say that these forensic is not completely confined to the cyber forensic or the digital forensic or any type of the digital data. That is a completely the vast field which is to be being implemented by the different fields by the different technologies. So we are coming to the another, these applications are central to fighting the cybercrime and protecting the digital assets in the current age of internet and the advanced technological digital world. I hope all of you are enjoying the session. If during the session, if you have any doubt, and as I have earlier requested, make any type of the chat, say, hello, how are you, sir? These type of the text will be connect all of the esteemed participants with me. And now I'm continuing the session. Yes. Now we are moving from the cyber forensic to the digital forensic. That is the process of uncovering and interpreting the digital electronic data. And the goal of this process is to preserve any evidence in its most original form while performing a structured investigation. How? By collecting, by identifying, and by validating the digital informations to reconstruct the past event. That's a really a complete book in itself for these some syntax for the digital forensic, because each and every words have its own significance to define the digital forensic. Because for the structured investigation, you have to make a elaborative collection you have to make a elaborative identification. You have to elaborate to validate that data. You have to make the reconstruction of the past event to make the proper revalidation of all these events. So for the digital forensic, we have to just include each and every parameter for the sake of complete, transparent, non-biased investigation or the forensical investigation. Okay, and now we are just making the some hierarchical points, and after that we will discuss the in detail the cyber forensic and the digital forensic, because these all terminologies you have to be well aware about that, because these are some complementaries to each other and are interrelated to each other. Once the digital forensic science is a branch of forensic science that focus on the recovery and the investigation of material that is found in the digital devices. All of you are well aware about these digital devices which are being used in the cyber criminals or the different type of the crimes which are being used in the different type of the sectors. Maybe it is a financial sector, maybe it is a medical sectors. Different type of the crimes are being executed nowadays in digital world. The term digital forensic was first used as a synonym for the computer forensic. That's the first. Earlier we have taken the history, just these two words are taken as a haphazard manner, but all these are the interrelated, because the computer forensic is only confined to the only computer forensic. Okay, once again, digital forensic once again is the process identifying, preserving, analyzing, and again the documenting the digital evidences. Okay, now broadly we are emphasizing on these factors. We have to identify which one factors: identification, preserving, analyzing, and documenting. These are the broadly 4 parts which makes the physical pillar for the digital forensic. How these 4 pillars are elaborated in the digital forensic, we are discussing one by one. The first one, the first stage, that is an identification, that implies the identification of investigation goals, and to carry out this, which type of resources are required to fulfill that identification. Analyticals also elaborate that point. We have to identify the evidences also, means which type of data with a deal and the devices that data is stored on. What's the meaning of that? Meaning of that is, say, we required some data to carry out the forensic investigation for a particular case. But you should be aware, means the analytical person or the analyst or the specialist should be aware for that data where it resides, from where he or she can fetch that particular data for the identification purpose. If we are not aware about that, which type of data and where that resides, it means we are not fulfilling the factor of the identification. And digital forensic specialists work with all kinds of the electronic storage, means that they are well aware about the different retro technologies, their current going technologies, and the future specs technologies which are being carried out in the digital or electronic storage data. We cannot say that these particular analyst is not aware about the floppy drive. These particular analyst is not aware about the cloud services or the different type of the hard disk manufacturing types, how they deal the storage of their data. Now, preservation. Now the preservation means that the analytics ensure that how the data is isolated and the preserve. Preserve means in case you have just taken out, it's your and your team responsibilities how to make the efforts to preserve by using the sophisticated digital forensic technologies to make the preservance of it. Usually, it means that no one can use the device until the end of the investigation so that the evidence remains secure. It's supposed to be, but normally all these facts does not say executed, does not take into the considerations in the trustful manner. We all know about these. So to make out the preservance of that, to contain the preservance of the evidences, we have to take the consideration that we should execute all possible efforts and all best efforts for the preservance of it. We will later on discuss how we will preserve the data, how we will take the most efforts for the preservance of the any type of the data which is available with us. Okay, now the next is analysis. How the analysis specialist work with the both systems and the user files and the data objects. That's the most important part. Because for the analytical points or the specialist point, you have to take the all type of the tools and technique to carry out the analysis of forensic data. If you are not able to take the analysis and for the sake of say any type of the evidences for any type of the financial frauds, for that you have to carried out all the possible techniques and all the possible tools for their analysis. There are so many analyses. On the basis of that, we carry out that analysis is successful or not. I'm just giving the one example for that to make it content in the contest. Okay, say one event, the team has just taken out the hard disk or the hard drive of any case, which is a very crucial evidence or the digital evidence in that case. That hard disk is available with the trustworthy person, but the counterparty is not agreed with that hard disk is even not touched or not even altered, not even any type of the we can say that non-invasive. How we can say that is a non-invasive? Anybody? Do you know that? What's a non-invasive? I'm just asking you the one terminologies. All of you are well aware about that. We are using the specs. We are using the different type of the eye surgeries. Nowadays, the doctors are using the laser operations, and they are saying that these laser operations of the eyes are the non-invasive. But in fact, these are non-invasive. Non-invasive is a X-ray. Means the rays are reaching to our bodies without any type of the cut in our body. We are using the surgeries without any type of the cut in our eyes. But in fact, there is a cut in our eyes. Means that each and every specialist has to be ensured that then analysis, that analytical factors are the non-invasive. We will later on discuss all these points in detail because that's continuation will be the breakup. Documentation, any digital evidences is recorded together with the photos, sketches, and the crime mapping scenes. All we know that we have to take all the photographs, snaps, documentations, all the type of all these things, and at the finally we have to represent all the evidences and the conclusions with the supporting documents to the forensic department or the say law enforcement department or to the federal department as per the protocols of the forensic analysis. Okay. Now we have just included one point in the initially. We have to include the point of the imaging or copying. We have to just copy the data from any type of the digital devices. It may be the say your mobile phone or computer, any type of the pen drives. We have to just make the copy of that data from the case or from the incident spot. But that copies is not the simple copy. That's basically the forensic imaging, or the imaging is the accepted standard for the preservation of the computer-based evidences. It is much, much different than the simple or the usual copies of our datas in our mobiles, in our pen drives, in our drives, in our any type of the micro SD cards, whatever may be. We cannot say that these datas are as usual as the copying data which are being used in our daily lives. We are using in the daily uses. These forensic imaging is basically the non-invasive method of producing it the complete bit by bit of an electronic storage device. Yes, we have to take the ensure from our sides of for specialists or from the forensic experts that we have to copy or the imaging of the digital evidences or the digital data in such a manner that they have to be copied bit by bit in a non-invasive manner. Okay. We are just discussing the case, how we have to, before moving that slide, which is being on the screen at present, we have to just make the sum up the last 4-5 slides, which are very crucial for the further. First one, we have to just take into the consideration which one? Identification. Next one is a preservation. We have to preserve it. How it will be preserved, we will take it into the considerations in the next slides. Analysis, different type of the tools and techniques are being used for the analysis. At that point, we have discussed one non-invasive. Non-invasive means we are collecting the data from the any type of the storage, any type of the digital devices without any type of cutting the devices, any type of operational, any type of the, so we can say that hardware components invasion. Simple thing is that you have to take all the things as it is from it without any operative manner. Okay. And now just we quickly go through these phases of the cyber forensic, because these 4 are the different and these phases are the concurrence of the events. I'm just taking the quickly the reference of it, and for that phase 1, what's the phase 1? That the first response action performed right after the occurrence of a security incident. Any type of the incident happened, then what will be the action performed? It is highly dependent on the incident of depends on the highly on the nature of the incident, which type of the incident is being carried out. Say one employee has resigned from the company, and that employee is as a better and the high profile seating and the corner of his job, and all these high profile parameters is in its portfolio. But can we take that incident as any type of the crucial incidents? No. Search and seizure. Under this phase, the professionals search for the devices involved in carried out the crime. These devices carefully seized to extract the information out of them. Once again, we have to collect an evidence. After the search and seizure phases, professional used the acquired devices to collect the data. They have well-defined forensic methods for the evidence handling. Secure the evidence. These points some points are the say similar to the previous broad points. The forensic staff should have access to a safe environment where they can secure the evidences. They find out the collected data is accurate, authentic, and accessible. Yeah, Mr. Mohud Amirul. Preservation. Great, sir. We will take the preservation details in the next coming slides. And besides that, after the these slides, if you have any doubt, we will cover up that doubt regarding the preservations. I am just taking these phases. The forensic staff, okay, fine. Now the next is a data acquisition. Data acquisition is the process of retrieving electronically stored information from the suspected digital assets. It facilitates to gain the insights into the incident, while an improper process can modify the data or sacrificing the integrity of the evidences. All these points will be discussed in detail later on. I'm just giving a face-to-face idea to all of you. All of you well aware about what's the integrity of the evidences. You will even know about that what will be the electronically stored informations. Data analytics or data analysis. Under this, accountable staff or the forensic expert scan the acquired data to identify the evidential information that can be presented to the court or the law enforcement agencies, including the federal structure. This phase is about examining, identifying, separating, even converting and modeling the data to transform into the useful informations and the evidences. For the data analysis, once again, we have to use a different type of the techniques, tools, and the informations. Evidences assessment. For these evidences assessments, we have to relate the evidences data to the security incident. We have to take a thorough assessments based on the scope of the case. We have to consider different type of the evidences assessments to make all the dots with the relate to the incidents. And finally, documentation and the reporting. For that, that's a part of the post-investigation phase that covers reporting and the documenting of all the findings. We can say the report also have the adequate and the acceptable formats and the evidences documents according to their federal structures. because I'm not using these words of the court of law, because we have already discussed these all things are not merely relates to the courts of laws there and the law enforcement agencies. That's a vast field which are being used in forensics, maybe different type of the different type of the fields, different type of the your structures which are being used currently in the forensic science. And now, how the testify and expert witness. The forensic investigators should approach the expert witness to confirm and affirm the accuracy of the evidences. That expert evidences is a professional who investigate the crimes to retrieve all these informations. And now we are coming to the forensic tools. That's a inherited part of the data analysis, which are being used in the phase 4, phase 5. Without tools and techniques, we are not able to, we means the forensic experts, we humans are not able to retrieve the data. We are not able to analyze the data. On the basis of these tools only, we can expedite all these process in a time-bound manner. How? In 90s, the digital investigations were carried out with the help of only the live analysis. Means we know that how the live analysis are being carried out. See, we have to take where the knife is there, where there is any cinema hall ticket is there or not, any type of the fingerprint is not there, any type of the hairs or the dead skin is not there. These type of the investigations being carried out at that time, because that was not the digital or the digital forensics. On the basis of these evidences, the investigations carried out and make to the dots with the relate to the computer forensic or the digital forensics or the digital investigations. But as a time increasing, and we are bound to use a different type of the devices packed with a huge amount of data and informations, which make the cyber forensic techniques inefficient in the 90s. That techniques becomes the inefficient because we are harvesting the so much data and informations, not day by day, even minute by minutes. We have to take the another 3 steps ahead, different type of the tools to analyze these type of the data. Therefore, we eventually we succeed to make the different digital forensic tools created to observe data on a device without damaging it. Okay, I think from that, yes, that's a case study. In 90s, 80, we have some digital forensic tools exist, but over the period of time in after the 80s, the software to address this problem was recognized by the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and they have created the Safe Back. It special forensic tools, and DIBMS, a hardware and the software solutions, was commercially launched in the 1991. Okay, and now after that, these tools also developed. We will discuss these tools one by one in case and the FTK. Demand for the different type of the digital evidences required the more advanced tool, just like the in case and the FTK. These tools were developed, and analytics will be able to examine the copy of the media without a live forensics. After that, a trend also continue for the live memory forensics, just like the Windows scope and the tools for the mobile devices. Finally, some single purpose open source tools also developed, like the Wireshark, Packet Sniffer, Hashkeeper, and a tool to speed up the examination of the database files. Commercial platforms with the different multiple functions reporting capabilities like the CANE, in case, all these Unix and the Linux based distribution tools are designed for the forensic programs. Because if we have to take the evidences from the Unix servers or the Linux servers, we have to take the scope of the some sophisticated or the dedicated tools which is being worked on the Unix and the Linux or the another OS which is proprietary. Once again, I think all of you are also aware about these tools broadly. Disk and the data capture tools. There are so many open source tools available in the web: file viewers, file analysis tools, registry analysis tools, internet analysis tools, email analysis tools, mobile devices analysis tools, Mac operating system analysis tools, network forensic tools, database forensic tools. We will take, okay, yes. And now, cyber forensic revolves around some another type of the forensics, which are cultivation of the another processes: computer forensic, network forensic, mobile forensic, digital forensic or digital evidences, or data recovery, expert witness, and rest of our others, the another one. I think all these parameters, all these structures we are discussing, we can add the some 1 or 2 or 3 points or some circles in that to make the more interactive the cyber forensics. But ultimately, what's the thing which is common in all these? What's the thing which is common in all these circles, all these hierarchy of the, or not hierarchy, all these are constituent parts of the cyber forensics? What's the common thing? The common thing is that we have to take each and every block with the integrity of the evidences. We have to take the integrity of the datas. We have to take the evidence forensics, different type of the tools, different type of the techniques, which are more or same, similar or more or less similar with the another constituents parts. How these are correlated, we are discussing here. Say one boy in the US is being departed from the house, or he willingly leave his house for any type of the professional or the personal reason for the timing. He takes the night shelter in his friend house, boyfriend house, not the girlfriend house. For that, their parents was very conscious and very possessive regarding leaving the house of their son. They have approached all the relatives. They have approached all the friends of that person, that boy. Finally, they send an email to his son whether he is able to give the response for that or not. We are presuming that that boy is not containing any devices like the mobile phone or electronic gadget. They have just dropped the email, and it is presumed that that boy is willing to attend the email and reply accordingly. They are dropping the mails, one emails at each time, say in morning, afternoon, and the evening. But there is no reply from the boy side. After 2-3 days, they have launched the complaint. They have asked the relatives, near dears, neighbors, but ultimately they are not getting into the final resort. After that, they very well known about that their boy is not, their son is not going to make any extreme steps. It's due to the, say, any type of the alterations between the family members. One digital forensic expert or some cyber expert has advised something new to trace the boy. They have suggested to make an email in the name of a girl and set a profile in the name of her, a good profile, educated profile, in the name of her, and drop an email to him to meet him in the coffee shop in the evening. All these forensic expert and the cyber expert techniques turns a fruitful turn, and finally boy has replied for that email. And after the reply of that email, boy gets trace out, and finally from where he's chatting the email or from where he's getting the answers for that particular email. Main point for that study is that email or whatever may be the gadgets we are using, maybe the stable computer, maybe your mobile phones, maybe or the iPads, whatever may be, even our iPod, our smartwatch, it may be whatever may be. The thing is that it is completely traceable by using the both-way communications. Whenever the person, the boy, is not acknowledging the email by opening it, the sender is not able to get the capture the data for that person, for that boy, for their son. But ultimately, whenever he checks his email and respond the reply, all the complete IP track come into the picture along with the metadata. We will discuss what's the significance of the data and the metadata in the next slides. My purpose is that all these constituents are the more or less same. We have to make the evidences and the forensics in a very sophisticated and legitimate manner so that we have to reach the final result. That's the way we are using the device forensic levels. There are so many devices we are using. Same maybe happened for the smartwatch. Same maybe happened for the cloud services. We are using the different type of the cloud forensics, and now we are using the different type of the Google Echos. These Google Echos are a crucial part in the implementing the cloud forensic levels. You will be surprised to know that recently in the US or UK, one family has denied to make the abortion for their child due to some medical complexity. They want the abortion, but court of law has denied the abortion due to some complexity. But finally, they have just received the court order that you have to make the deliverable their child's. And after that, that lady has searched out in their Google Echo what's the procedure for the home abortions. There are so many cloud forensic levels which are being say forensics on the cloud platform. And now we are discussing the forensic tools. Just 1 minute break for the water. Thank you. So we are discussing the three most important forensic tools which are being used over a period of times till today. The first one is SWAT kit, that's prominently known as a TSK. It's a collection of the Unix and the computer-based utilities that extract the data from the computer system. That tool is basically the open source software that analyze the disk images created by the DD. We are discussing here the disk images which are being discussed in earlier slide. Say imaging, not the copying, images. And that's a software that analyzes the disk image and recovers the data from them. That particular tool checks or authenticates or that cross authenticates the disk images and retrieve the data from them. With this software, professionals get data during the incident's response or from the live system. Even professionals can integrate the TSK with more extensive forensic tools to make it the more interactive and the more data elaborative, so that these can be implemented in the forensic or the forensic evidences prominently. FTK Manager, once again, is a acquisition in the imaging tools responsible for the data preview that allows the user to access the device in question quickly. This tool can also create the forensic images of the device without damaging the original evidence. That's the most important. Once again, we have to take the image of any original evidence. We have to take the image of any hard disk. We have to take the image of any memory card. In that case, we have to take into the considerations the tools which are so much capable to not to damage the original one copy or the master copy, along with that the new one. Because if we are taking the consideration into that tools that are not capable to do their jobs authentically or the say with integrity, we should avoid these type of the tools. Expilo is a network forensic analysis tool that helps to reconstruct the data acquired using packet sniffing tools like the Wireshark. I think all of you are aware these packet sniffing tools, or some candidates may say you will get the demo from our sites also. And it's free and the open source software that uses the port independent and the port protocol identification. Port independent and protocol identification to recognize the network protocols. This tools is built up on the 4 key components: decode manager, IP decoder, data manipulators, and the visualization system. These 4 are the key component of this Explico tools. Okay, and now after the tools, what's the timeline of the cyber forensic or the digital forensic? Idea, first one, the barring access. We have to take insurance. We have to take the ensure that the idea is to bar the access to the system that is to be analyzed for any type of the data evidence. We have to take the first one. It is not the thing that each and every person is able to access the data. Once again, we have to create the image. Never play with the machine. If it is off, remain it off. Take the photographs, collect the live data first, say the RAM, and seize all in the static bags. What are the static bags? static backs, I think all of you are well known, but the main factor is that we have to take the considerations, the good one static backs or anti-static backs, so that these datas may not be get damaged by the any type of the static currents or the fortified by the any type of the charges, current charges. Storing the content of a disk to the another, we have to make consideration the clone also. We have to take the imaging. Yes, carving. I think all of you are also know about these process of extracting the data from the disk or image is known as. And how we will analyze the data which is openly available on the drive. That's the most important part. Analyze the system artifacts. These artifacts contain the data about the uses, login, external media, network, etc. Browser artifacts are also a main part in today's cyber crimes or the cyber incidents. That's the most important. Basically, the artifacts are the things we can say that these are inherited in our system, in our digital device, in any other form which are being created by the humans. Maybe during the investigation, maybe earlier during the cyber incident or the cyber attack. There are different permutation combinations how to manipulate the artifacts in the digital devices. And finally, the submission of the digital evidence datas. Okay, now that's the most important. What are the digital artifacts? And we have to make whether trust or not. Yes, that's a great implications of the digital forensic. First of all, we have to see digital artifacts are basically the memorization of the user activity left in a machine or a device, just like a digital fingerprints, There are so many activities which are being articulated in our machines, in our devices, to carry out the applications, to carry out the different type of the activities that are being stored in our devices and our machines as a digital fingerprints or the digital or the digital artifacts. There are the key places the digital forensic expert will check when looking out for the artifacts and their related user activities. Key artifacts normally take the considerations and their residence in the email attachments, external hard drives, external storage devices, or printer logs, internet histories, browser histories, operating systems logs, operating system registry, operating system software, operating system database, or different type of the operating system files. And now these are the cyber forensic techniques. What's the technique? The first one, live analysis. With this technique, a computer is analyzed from within the operating system while the computer or device is running, using system tools on the computer. Means that particular machine is or device is running, and that is a live analysis. Analysis looks at the volatile data, which is normally stored in the cache or the RAM. Volatile data is normally the passwords of that particular machines which are used by the user or the sub-users. Many tools used to extract the volatile data required the computer to be in forensic lab to maintain the legitimacy of a chain of evidence. Chain of evidence. And the second technique is deleted file recovery. This technique involves searching a computer system and a memory for the fragments of file that were partially deleted in one place, but leave the traces elsewhere on the machine. That's known as a file carving or the data carving. In fact, when we delete the files in our machines that are being deleted on that particular operating systems, but in fact, these files are not deleted permanently from the machine. Before acquiring that deleted space or the deleted file space to the new files, these deleted files retain in the systems over a period of time. Reverse stenography. We all know that about the stenographies is a common technique or the tactics used to hide the data inside any type of the digital file, message or the data stream. Stenography is a very ancient techniques to code the text by their secretaries for their high profile managers. Similarly, the computer forensic experts reverse a stenography attempts by analyzing the data hashing, that files in question contains. We will discuss in details what's the hashing and how take the significance of the hashing in that evidences or the preservation of the data. Because I think Mohud Amirul Saab query is also pending regarding that. If a cyber criminals hides the important informations inside an image or the digital file, it may look same or before or after to the untrained eye. Means that any digital file which contains some important information, that particular file may be look like the same as it is before, and that underlying hash or string of data that represents the image will change. Ultimately, after applying the reverse stenography, that particular file will show that what's the original data has been concealed by the any cyber criminal or the any actor threat element. Okay, cross drive analysis. This technique correlates and cross references the information found on the multiple drives that's required for the analysis and the preservance of information related to the investigation. There are so many incidents when we have to cross verify. We have to carry out the cross drive for any data which is presumed to be not in a original or in a fact manner, that is to be in the initial stage. For that, we have to carry out the cross drive analysis for the data. These type of the events that raises the questions and the species, these are compared with the information and other drives to look for the similarities and provide the context. We have to take out the context from the content for reaching the cross drive analysis. And sometimes that is also known as the anomaly detection. Stochastic forensic, in that analysis and the reconstruction of digital activity is done without the use of digital artifacts. We have already discussed. We are analyzing the digital activities, and we are making the reconstruction of these digital activity without using any artifacts. Means artifact is on the one side, we are just making the reconstruction of that. Because artifacts are unintended alteration of data that occur from the digital processes. Because if we are already taken into the consideration the digital artifacts, that means we are not taking into the consideration of the stochastic forensic, because stochastic forensic is a part that is not being encountered for the digital artifacts. And finally, we know that these artifacts includes the clues that is related to a digital crimes and changes that is being attributed, including the data thefts. These forensic is frequently used in the data breach investigation. That's the point. Because if it is suspected that in that case, the data breach investigation has been done, data breach has been done by that particular employee, that has been done by the particular high profile manager, in that attacker is thought to be the insider. You will be surprised to know that in 2001 or 10, one US multinational company has to be declared bankrupt on the basis of this forensic technique only. We will elaborate that. While the attacker is thought to be the insider, who might not leave behind any type of the artifacts. That's also a most important part. We will continue. In terms of the technique, we have to take the consideration of the chain of custody. Chain of custody in simple terms. What do you mean by the chain of custody? Any type of the physical object, you have just surrender it. You have just take the receiving of that item or the object. It means you are the now custodian of it. Further, you are giving that item to the another body, any person. Further, you are taking the documentation of it, and these process or chain are going on. That is a physical chain of custody. But digital forensic or the cyber forensic is not concerned with the physical chain of custody. These are some traditional forensic activities. So many physical chain of custody, not in the chemical sector, not in the election infrastructure subsectors, because these are some related to the very crucial part. That's why these are being mentioned. But in practice, the chain of custody documentation support any type of the risk mitigation by reducing the opportunity of malicious actor that is being used to tamper that particular asset or the evidence. We have to make each dot with dot to ensure for the chain of custody. How will be it implemented in the digital forensic? All we know that physical chain of custody, there are so many government departments, there are so many federal structures, there are so many corporate houses, there are so many forensic laboratories of the chemical sectors and the pharmaceuticals. They are using the physical chain of custodies in their samples. But besides that, we have to what the role of digital forensic in that chain of custody. Digital chain of custody plays a crucial part in the cyber crime of corporate, society, and the financial sector fraud. In all these health sectors, financial service sectors, public healthcare, chain of custody plays a very, very crucial part. More importantly, in today's of time, financial institutions have to comply with the chain of custody regulations on the transfer of the electronic data between the institutions, storage between the institutions into the storage, to prevent the loss of data or the interference. Nowadays, how you will be able to reverse back the financial or the cyber fraud which is being carried out in the financial sector. That's due to the chain of custody. If one hacker is about to hack the any network, any person account, he is able to fetch his saving account, his money, after the persuasion or the federal structures or the law agencies as per the country, they are able to get the funds from that fraud, that cyber threat actor, due to the chain of custodies, because there are so many payment aggregators are available in the middle of that person and that financial institutions. Nowadays, the financial institutions are not directly transferring the payments to the owner. These payments are being transferred via using the payment aggregators or the third parties. And these third parties play the crucial part in that to ascertain the chain of supply or chain of custody. In case of any unauthenticated transfer of money, they have to ensure that the reverse back or the revert back that money to the recipient account from the point of view of the cyber crime in the financial sector. And now, what to do ascertain the digital chain of custody? What are the parameters? What are the techniques? What are the algorithms or the algos which are being used to ascertain the digital chain of custody? First one, anti-static. Yes, because the anti-static bag is also a part of the digital chain of custody. We are providing the server financial data or any type of the digital evidence data without anti-static bag, and that data has been discharged due to the discharge or the fortified due to the any type of the electric charge mismanagement. Will be the responsible, means that we have not followed the digital chain of custody. But besides that, in terms of the digital forensic, which things ascertain that is, say, one executive in a multinational company has left out the company in a higher position. I have asked that question in some conversation, but that is a simple syntax or the simple event. But and now I'm continuing that context in the further. Why I have said all these things? Say that person is a highly managerial position in that company. He is supervising the complete country, and suddenly he decided to resign from his post. After resigning from his post, that person has started a new business in any other country or in the same country, in the same domain, with a direct competition to the parent company. Over the period of time, that person has acquired all the market from the previous one in a very short while period. After that, the parent company has make an analysis what happened and how these things happened, and they have carried out the digital forensic investigations, and they have find out that that person was involved in the downloading the different high profile corporate files from the corporate server in his time just before the resignation. They have collected all the datas. They have made all the summaries. And these courses has been, cases has been carried out in the court of law, say for the 2 years or the 3 years. All the digital evidences, hard disk, all the traces are available with the agencies. But who will ascertain that these evidences, these hard disk, these datas are not being changed in that 1 year or 2 years? To ascertain these things, these datas, we have to use the different technologies, different parameters to ascertain these hard disks are not, or these evidences are not changed. For that, we have to use the hash value or hash algorithm. One Locard's exchange principle in the physics says that when a person comes into the contact with an object or another person, a cross transfer of physical evidence can occur. Therefore, the court says that who has taken the evidences, who has taken the digital forensic data 1 year back, how it is possible that these data has not been changed? Because as per the law, these evidences, these object definitely has been transferred, cross-transferred of the physical evidences definitely will occur. To ascertain these things, we have to take into the consideration of the mathematical authentication. That mathematical authentication is the hash algorithm or the hash values. These is basically a result of the calculation that can be performed on the string of text, electronic file, or entire hard drive contents. The result is known as the checksum, hash code, or hashes. Say, in the event we are discussing, when the digital forensic expert or the specialist is taking out the data from his parent company, then he will carry out the hash algorithm or hashing to convert that data. How many hash are generated? Say 90 hashes are generated. In that case, after the 1 year or 2 year, that particular court of law will see or visualize at that moment how many hash are generated. If the same hashes are generated, it means that particular data is not fortified, is not altered, or any type of the transfers or the artifacts are not developed on that particular hard disk. This unique mathematical authentication act as a hash algorithm. Hash value or hash algorithm is basically a specific number, a string that created through a algorithm that is associated with a particular file. If file is altered in any way little bit, it means hash value will be changed 100%. Because hash algorithm or the hashing use the checksum or the different type of the algorithm functions to carry out the integrity of these datas by using the cryptography. Hash functions used in computer cryptography are known as a cryptographic hash functions. Some functions are the, I think all of maybe you're aware about these: SHA-256, SHA-3-256, which transforms the arbitrary input to 256-bit output. That's also a table for integrity of evidence. We are mentioning here the method checksum. Another is one-way hashing. Another is digital signature. This table shows the different type of the description regarding that. Okay. Before that, I have to also take the digital evidences. Why the digital evidences have to take the different these procedural artifacts, digital evidences, because these are the fragile, these are the intangibles, and these are volatiles. But most important are that these datas are in fact metadatas. These are not the simply datas, because each and every data is interlinked to the another one datas, and we have to consider each datas as a context, not into the content, because each and every character has its own significance and on interpretation. Okay, now we are discussing here the case studies for the cyber forensic. Apple trade secret theft that has been executed in the Apple's autonomous car division in the US. That person has announced his retirement and moving back to the China to take care of its elder mother. And finally, he's planned to work as an electronic car manufacturing in the another country, raising the suspicious activities. After that, the FBI has made a team and reviewed the activity on the company network and found that the downloaded the trade secrets from the confidential company database servers, which has access to it. And that particular case indices by the FBI in 2018. And now that's very interesting. That particular Enron case has established a new act in the cyber forensic. That particular the company Enron, US energy companies and service company that has reported the billions of dollars revenue in their peak period, but these revenues were the false one. That company has declared finally in the 2001 bankrupt, and that has created so many losses to their employees. Computer forensic experts and analysts examine the terabytes of data to understand the complex fraud schemes of these company. And after the investigation, they found that completely manipulation of all the financial terms and financial sheets and financial data for that company on the Act of Sarbanes-Oxley 2002. Finally, on the basis of that company has been bonded out in the 2001. Okay, just look on that. What that picture indicate? That's a very interacting picture. That is a auto. That is a auto. That company has been taken out, take over by the Uber in US. And that's a very interesting story. Mr. Scott was employed in the Google in US, and they are associated with the Google and the Uber from the 2009 to the, I think 2014, 6-7 years they are associated. They have taken the major goal part in self-driving Google car, self-driving Uber. They have implemented a vast interactive automotive vehicles in that particular domain. That person has resigned from the company. And he has downloaded thousands and lakh of the files related to the program from the password protected corporate server of the Google and the Uber. After resigning from that company, he has established his own in the name of the Auto, self-driving truck company. And finally, that company has been bought by the Uber. That person has taken out the numerous number of the trade secrets thefts in the 2019. In 2016, that has been charged in the 19, but that person has taken the so many counts of the trade secret thefts of these Googles and the Uber. Finally, that person has been sentenced to the 18 months jail and the approximately the $10 lakh as a fine. But the thing is that how we will crack these type of the cases over the period of time with the help of only the digital forensic. He has developed the different type of the cyber threats, including the brute force attacks, to download the password protected the files, thousands of files from the corporate server to make their own company based on the information available on the Google self-driving cars and these Uber. By taking all the traces into the considerations, different the network forensics, different devices forensics, and the different federal and law enforcements, that person has been charged for the 33 counts of trade secret thefts in 19. Okay, we are taking some simple things into the consideration right now for the cyber forensic or the digital forensic. Suppose we have to just carry out any activity, and for the particular incident, in that incident, whether we have to pull out the system code, power code from it or not. If we pull out the code, it may be happen. If we will not pull out the code, it may be happen. There may be so many decisions, or maybe some opinions in our mind, what to do and what not to do. In these type of the dilemmas, we have to take some important points into the considerations. First of all, we should avoid to pull out the power cord from the power sockets. I'm saying that power cord from the power socket, because if we pull out the power cord from the power sockets, there are so many volatile data that is available on the machine, maybe get disappear or the vanished due to that. These volatile data of the operating system get diminished or completely fade away. There's so many slack space, free space, network configurations, network connections, even the running processes, open files, moreover, login sessions, and operating system time, all will be get vanished. Most important part is that we will get lost, we will get fade away all the volatile operating system data. That is a most crucial part in the digital forensic to take out the case for the path. Slack space, I think all of you know that about these, some space that is being used by the files when it is deleted or not available on the machine at the primary interface. When we are tackling the data, we have to just considerations, the volatile data order into the considerations. Most important data is that is related to the registry, operating system registry contents, cache registry contents, our processor datas, our networking routing tables, address routing protocol cache, process tables, and different type of the kernel statistics that is available in the machine that is get vanished or fade away by using non considering the volatility of the datas. And the mediocre is the memory that is available in the temporary file system, and the least one, the data that is available on the hard disk, because you can take out the separately hard disk and you can use it and you can fetch the data from that storage devices. Even we can able to fetch the raw disk blocks that is available on the our storage media. And for that, we have to take which type of the precautions for the switch off systems. We have to take the control of the area. That's a common thing containing the equipments. Don't make the hazard around the equipments. If any type of the job is pending in the printers, we should allow to print it and take the attempts to get it finished for the printing. Any types of the suspicious elements, including the persons, should be away from the computers or any power supply to avoid any interruptions. If switch off system is taken into the consideration, we have to make it the switch on. It should be the switch on in the presence of the specialist or the forensic invigilators. We have to ensure that the computer is switched off. Sometimes some sophisticated screensavers are used that appears to be that the system is switched off. They are just analogous to the computer screen. It seems that the screen is turned off, but in fact the screen is in on mode. That monitor activity lights indicates that the machine is switched on or switched off. If we are taking the machine just as a laptop, we have to remove the battery from the laptop computers and unplug the power and other devices from the socket that is apparently switched off, but maybe in the sleep mode or accessed remotely, that allow any type of the alteration and the deletion of file. We should be aware about these minute points and carefully remove the equipments, record each and every unique identifier in the machine. Your just CPU, the screens, keyboards, and the supporting equipments, they have the separate identities, including the webcams, speakers, and etc. We have to ensure all the items that has been signed and completed, all the labels attached to them, as in case to create any difficulty with the continuity and cause the equipment to be rejected by the forensic examiners. We have to search for the notebooks, diaries, with a password on which they are often stuck to or close to the computers. Asking the users if there are any passwords or there is a given record them accurately. Yes, that's the point. If the system is on, we have to take the consideration, remove the equipment and record the unique identifiers, different main units, keyboards, and so and so. Ensure that all the items that have signed exhibit the label attached to them. Now, if the system is on, we have to allow the equipment to cool down before deattaching the each and every equipments. Now, digital stop and search. That's a pictograph, says 1,000 of words in itself. How the UK police can secretly download each and everything from your mobile phone. Each and everything. They require only the simple one thing, that is your mobile and your SIM card. It has been surveyed that around 26 out of 47 police forces admit to using the sophisticated technologies to take data from the phones. If they are extracting the data from the mobile phone, from the SIM, from any device, it means you and we and the person who belongs to that equipments are able to give all the data that is related to social media, locations, hidden data, banking, browsing histories, their professional photos, personal photos, different applications, musics, all things will be get shared with the federal agencies. This is a pictograph for the UFED logical analyzer, which is being used by the digital forensic expert or the cyber forensic experts. These logical analyzer is being used for the forensic purpose of the mobile phones or the mobile forensic solutions that provides a fast logical extraction of data from a wide range of the devices, including legacy, feature phones, smartphones, tablets, and the portable GPS devices. That's a report sample from that UFED logical analyzer. In that, you can see how the extraction summary shows that which type of the information available from a mobile, how many cell towers, how many call logs, Facebooks, chats, Twitters, WhatsApp, how many contacts, each and everything is fetched by this application, this analyzer for a particular phone. Even they are able to get all the details of cell towers in which that particular mobile has been roamed. No, for a live system, once again, the switch on. That's are the simple things which has to be take care during the forensic. Yes. In case of the mobile, if the device is on, do not turn on. If device is on, leave it on the stage. Powering off the device could enable the password, thus preventing access to the evidence. They are asking about your mobile phone. How to take care in the digital forensic for the mobile phones. Photograph devices and the screen displays. Label and collect all the cables, including the power supply. Keep device charged. If device cannot be kept charged, its analysis must be completed. Seize the additional storage media. Document all steps involved in the seizure of the device and the components. Okay, and now, thanks to all of you. For any query, most welcome. First of all, we will attend the query. If it is from your side, please ask any query in the chat box for the today's session. It will be a privilege for me to attend the queries from your side. If there is no query, please mention or write down the today's session. Was about the today's session. How was the presentation? Mr. Amirul, sir, I am able to give answer for your query. Yeah, 11. Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thanks a lot. Great, sir. Great, Amirul, sir. Please, I really appreciate to all of you if you note down the few words about that today's session in the chat box. Your 2 words will be required for the today's session. Other candidates, Mr. Arif, Mr. Ong, Mr. Jame, Mr. Kim from the Cambodia, Shok Showman, that's great, sir. You don't have any question, but write down about the today's session, because that's a part of session, and that's an integral part of the session, because your kind words is required to conclude the today's session. Mr. Thirpol, okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Ong, thank you, sir, thank you. And all were participating actively in the session. Why there is no comments in the chat box? Because, sir, my purpose is also there in to write the chat box. I will just mention it before concluding the session. That's a mandatory. That's a mandatory from you, not from me, sir. From the point of view of the digital forensic. Thank you, Pahar sir. Thank you, Mr. Kim Shohet. Okay. Sir, these comments are, these comments in the chat box are motivation for us, leaves a scope for the improvement for further. if these comments are not received, we cannot improve for further. These also simultaneously provide the motivation to us. Moreover, your comments also embedded in these chat box, in these video conferencing, in these meeting for the digital forensic, for the cyber forensic. We are collaborating, we are coordinating with each other on that platform, on that particular time, because our organizations, our institutions were well generous to attend it, to join it, to deliver it, the sessions and these conversations on that platform. It is required. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for the today session. And before starting the new sessions by the Mr. KK Yadavji, I over to him, and we will take the 5 to 10 minutes break for further continuation. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Over to KKG.
Thank you, sir, for your today's session, and thank you, participant, for the be patient and very good comment. Really, you are all are enjoying this session. Recording session and PPT and related material will be shared on the Learning Management portal. And you can take 5-minute break, and then we can start the remaining part of today's session. So we go for the break for the 5 minutes. Okay, thank you.